let's talk about a particular case study that will consist of all of this, say reflexivism, then multi-sited ethnography, not multi-sited, but reflexivism and also eclecticism. So this is the case of a scholar Renato Rosaldo. So he studied a tribe called as Ilongots of Philippines. Actually, this tribe, they engaged in headhunting practice. Okay, headhunting means they will go and attack their enemy, and when in a brutal fight, they will cut the head of their enemy and will toss the skull in order to celebrate their victory. That is a headhunting practice. So he studied them. He went for an interview, and he basically asked them, what is the reason for headhunting? Why do they engage in headhunting? So the Ilongot said that it's the rage. We have a lot of rage against our enemy, and when the rage actually is extremely high, headhunting is the practice to vent out our rage. Now, this rage can be because of any kind of anxiety, any kind of problems that they might be facing in their day-to-day life. Maybe they might not be very much happy with any kind of unexpected incident that might have happened. Okay, and that all creates some kind of rage. And they have only one culturally acceptable method of venting out their rage as headhunting. So when he went there for the very first time, so he did not took them very seriously. Okay, and bas wo likha aur aage. Gradually, the postmodernism was rising up, and he just presented, but he didn't believe that yes, is headhunting is a mechanism to vent out the rage. उस बात को मानते नहीं थे. But when postmodernism came up, and one incident actually happened, that actually changed his understanding of this tribe. How it happened? So actually, he had a wife named Michelle Rosaldo. Now he was going to do a field work in Philippines itself. Michelle Rosaldo was already present there. She is a very prominent feminist scholar, was a prominent feminist scholar. So what happened? They had to move from one place to another, one village to another, and they have to pass a cliff. While passing the cliff, Michelle Rosaldo actually fall off the cliff that was 600 feet high. And what happened? She immediately died. And that grief that actually was felt by Renato Rosaldo, or that grief was something that actually was not making him cry. He was very much angry. He was very much furious. That made him understand the rage of the headhunters. And then he reinterpreted, or he re-examined his Ilongot study and wrote a re-examined idea, that is grief and headhunters' rage. I'd like to just read one specific statement, okay, some specific paragraph from his book. When he actually found the dead body of his wife, what he said to himself. He says that, immediately on finding her body, I became enraged. How could she abandon me? How could she have been so stupid as to fall? I tried to cry. I sobbed, but the rage blocked the tears. An earlier experience on the 4th anniversary of my brother's death had taught me to recognize the heaving sobs without tears as a form of anger. This anger in a number of forms have swept over me on many occasions. Since then, lasting sometimes for hours and some days, sometimes even for days. Okay, so he is explaining that when I was holding the dead body of my wife, I was so angry at the situation that killed her that I could not even cry. I was sad. I wanted to cry, but the tears, because of the enragement, were not coming out of my eyes. And that made me understand the rage of the headhunters. And then I understood, yes, when this rage comes up, anybody can do anything. And that headhunting might be the mechanism of venting out the rage. Maybe I might have also do it. Okay, so that headhunting is when he compares the rage with his own grief. And based on that, he re-examined his study of Ilongots. Are you seeing something here? It's basically reflexivity. It's not the headhunting that he was studying. It's the practice of headhunting that he tried to understand with the same grief that he had when his wife died. Or in a way, is it he studying the headhunting or using the headhunting rage to explain his grief? It's both the way around. कि वो headhunting explain कर रहा है या headhunting को use करके जो अपनी grief है वो explain करना चाह रहा है कि वो इतनी ज़्यादा intense है, इतनी ज़्यादा heavy है. Okay, that I cannot explain, and you need to understand he is comparing it that the same rage that the Ilongots have while killing their enemy or beheading them, the same rage is in me. So that's the reflexivity saying that the distinction between the observer and the observed becomes blurred. It cannot be said that whether Rosaldo is talking about the headhunting of the Ilongots or whether he is using headhunting of the Ilongots to explain his own grief. And that is the reanalysis of the headhunting tribe. Okay, grief and headhunters, rage is a study of reflexivity. And based on this, when he did this study or re-examined this Ilongots, so he completely changed his stance. He says that now I understood that ethnography can never be 100% objective. In fact, he promoted subjectivity in ethnographic research. He says that कि subjectivity होनी चाहिए. Subjectivity से ही तो आप clarity दे सकते हो. The headhunting rage can never be explained by, say, some objective idea कि इस scale पे इतना गुस्सा है या वगैरह वगैरह. Nobody will ever be able to feel it. But when I try to understand it from the rage that I had with respect to my wife's death, I was able to clearly understand it. And that's why he suggested that subjectivity should be present in an ethnographic research. There is no need also to make it objective. Because when you make it objective, you take away the emotions in that research. And that's why this Renato Rosaldo is basically depicting his skills of reflexivity and acknowledging कि मैं उस state of mind में था and इस state of mind में मैं इस ethnography को reanalyze कर रहा हूँ just to explain the headhunting rage of the Ilongots. Clear है ये? Just write this.